welcome back to the People of Hitachi podcast. Today we have a really exciting episode. We have two incredible speakers and we are going to dive into all things Pride. So Daniel, it would be great if you could please introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Daniel Greenberg, 32, live in London. I work with Hitachi Solutions Europe as part of the Change, Adoption and Learning team, which is one of the newer teams that have been set up. It's really exciting to be part of the journey. I've been with Hitachi for around about 9 months now, and I'm also been part of the diversity group for the LGBTQIA plus community. So yeah, really excited to get involved in everything Pride.
And Marianne, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Marianna Groth. I'm from Denmark. I'm the country manager in Denmark. I have been with Hitachi Vantara for 11 and a half years. In various roles. The last 4.5 years, I've served as a country manager for Denmark. Beside that, I'm also a part of the Rainbow ERG in Hitachi Vantara. And it's a job I'm doing with pride, I can say. I love to be part of that community, and that's really a place where I'm feeling well and feeling very, very safe. It's a very good community to be part of.
A really incredible achievement here at Hitachi. We changed the Hitachi logo to the Pride flag, and this was done last year and will be continued this year. And it's a massive step for us at Hitachi as a traditional Japanese company. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really inspiring to see that a traditional Japanese company is embracing everything Pride. I don't think obviously the journey ends there, as you probably, and we all probably well know that there is a lot more to do, but Hitachi has started down a road and there are certain things that are being done, communities being set up, activities, panels, podcasts, newsletters going out, real focus on what it means to be part of Pride. And I think that's really exciting.
And yes, of course, I agree. It's a very nice achievement with this, and it's a very good symbol that we have managed to do so. But I also strongly believe that this is 1 month with focus, but we really need to remember the 11 other months. That's where the hard work needs to be done. So it's not only something we can do for 1 month, but it's a very good start, and it's a very good symbol. And of course, I'm proud of that. But we need to speak about it and work all the 11 other months a year as well.
I think you're right. I think, it is an incredible symbol, but we need to take that action too.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
For Pride Month, we have some incredible activities, across the month, which we are going to highlight these conversations and bring awareness to the community. One of the reasons why we've got you on this podcast today is because we know that this topic is so close to both of your hearts. And I'd love to ask you, what Pride Month means to you and what's your why around this topic? So, Daniel, could we start with yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, being a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, it's really important for me to be involved and speak up and feel like I'm part of, a community and I have a home. So my why is because I'm living it every single day, and to be able to live it with pride is really important to me.
Thank you so much. And Marianne?
My son, he's 16 today. He came out at 10 years old. One day he said to me, "Mama, I want your job." And then I was looking around and I really didn't see a lot of people from the rainbow community, maybe because they're not open, maybe because we're not good to attract those people. So I thought I need to do something. And then I reached out to the Rainbow ERG, and suddenly I found myself as part of that ERG and the leadership team as an ally. And I'm really using my voice now to speak up and also to show how I think leaders should embrace diversity and embrace the community.
Why is allyship so important?
I think it's really important because it allows me not to feel, and people in the same position as me, like we're alone in our struggles. Allyship is probably the most powerful tool that we have to ensure our own happiness, our own safety, and our own progression. And it also builds communities, it crosses bridges, it makes people understand each other a lot better. And, we all know that a workforce works better when there's really good connections built. Allyship is really important because it allows us to understand different backgrounds, different experiences, different ways of viewing life. And without the allies, we definitely wouldn't be in the position that we are today. They're really valuable to me.
And Marianne, I wonder if you could kind of tap into why it is so important to continue these conversations.
I know for Denmark, I can speak, and people think we are there. We was one of the first country to allow same-sex marriage, but we are not there. My son has 2 times recently been attacked, and it's by a young person, 15 years old. So it's not there, and he's been attacked solely because he's a homosexual, and so there's really a need for a lot of support. He was with one of his friends. She didn't speak up. I think one of the most important thing in allyship is to speak up, and it's on the workplace, it's in the society, it's everywhere. And for my personally, as a leader in Hitachi Vantara, everybody knows, because I'm very, very open, that it's very accepted to be homosexual or part of the community in Hitachi Vantara in Denmark. Everybody knows that because I'm speaking up very, very open. And I'm not tolerating that it's not accepted. I think that's very important that we are doing that as ally, and that everybody does that. And it's not just an HR thing, it's really a leadership thing to speak up. And I think everybody should also know the word ally, because I think if you know that, you can tell I am an ally, instead of I support and I do this, but just that we also introduce the word ally to everybody.
No one is asking for anything more than just to be listened to and to be understood. And I think that's such an easy thing to do. And everybody wants a place to feel accepted. And even if you are simply an ally of someone who has made it known that you are a safe place, that means a lot to people. And whether it's in the workplace or not, knowing, for example, that there is someone there to protect you if you face something that's scary, it's a powerful tool for society. And I think hopefully more people will start to realize that we need it more now than ever, I think.
Yeah, because in some places I think it's going a bit backwards instead of forwards, and I'm scared about that. So I think also if we can introduce this and people can learn that they can say so everybody know where there's a safe harbor, because I think it's very, very important to create a safe harbor, and also let people understand that there's words we do not tolerate. And it's just for fun. That's so easy to say, but it's not funny.
No, it's not funny for the person at the other end who has had to maybe deal with that sort of thing, their entire life. But, I don't want anybody to feel that they should be forced to be an ally in any way. I think they should see the benefits in themselves of what allyship can mean.
Pride Month is such a great time for people to learn. And, also in the workplace, that is a great place to learn. And Marianne, you made a really great point the other day. You said people are more productive, when they feel accepted. And I wonder if you could kind of explain a bit more about this within your team.
First of all, I think we need to have diversity in team, because if we all are equal, we will make bad decision, because if we all think the same way. So we really need to have diversity in team. And it's both male, female, it's also with age, and it's also with sexuality and introvert, extrovert. We really need to create diverse team. But I'm very worried if a person in my team need to hide and always need to think, what am I saying? So because we do not know that the person have a same-sex partner or something, and they really not feeling secure, then they are not performing. If they need to spend maybe 10, 15, 20% of their brain of hiding who they really are, it's not because I'm really not, I don't need to know if people have a same-sex partner. I really don't care. But I really care if people feel they need to hide when they go to work, because then they they are not working there 100% and they don't feel accepted. Everybody should feel accepted, no matter who they are and who they love.
And it's not healthy, is it? To, not feel accepted and not feel like you can be yourself. And, within Hitachi, we're doing lots to kind of support the community and bring visibility to these topics. And I'd really love to touch on the ERGs. And I know, Marianne, within Hitachi Vantara, there is a brilliant ERG. Could you explain a little bit about this group and what you guys do?
It's a group of different people. It's both allies and people from the community. And we are doing a lot, but of course not enough, I think. But we also have a day job. It's a joke. We have the day job and the gay job. And
I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, sorry. But we are doing happy hours, and happy hours can be just for the members of the community. Then we are also doing some where we are inviting other. The next one we are having is about allyship, because we think allyship is really one of the most important things to do. We have also offered reverse mentoring, because there may also be leaders who is, what do I need to do? What do I need to say? Oh, I'm so worried of embarrass some people. So we can do this kind and do some reverse mentoring. What is acceptable? How do you deal with it? I don't think it's a big topic, but for some it may be very difficult to say, how do I treat you in a nice way? And I'm like, just treat people as a person. But if anybody should be in doubt, we can offer this kind of thing. We've also done some fun, some drag bingo, or we had a coming out story from a drag queen I know. And it's a funny story because the drag queen, we call the topic from dad to drag queen, because it's a person or guy I know, Christian, and he was having a hetero relationship and got a daughter, a nice daughter, and then suddenly I'm not into this. I'm homosexual, and inside myself, I have a really nice drag queen. And then suddenly he was a drag queen, and then he told silently about his story and how it worked out that he transitioned from a dad to a drag queen. And I think people could learn about it, because it was not like whoa, the drag queen that day. It was silently how he felt and how he did it, how his mother took it, and I think it was good for everybody to listen to his coming out as a drag queen story.
And I think that's really important. We all have our own stories, our own journeys. Daniel, you are from Hitachi Solutions, and I wonder if you could explain a little bit about that. What are you guys doing to kind of support these Pride initiatives?
Sure. When I first joined Hitachi Solutions, there wasn't the IG diversity group set up at that point. But we've had the corporate social responsibility leads that have come in and started to set up these groups, which I think is really great, because it shows a real want from Hitachi Solutions to make sure that there's places for people to come together with shared experiences, to nurture those experiences and to really grow and learn from them. So at the moment, we are in a phase of creating those groups and setting them up and getting them established, and some of them are more established than others, and that's really great, because it's a place to learn from. The initiatives at the moment are really just to get this community stood up and to get people joining, to get people involved, to show people that actually you don't have to be just part of the community to be part of the community. Basically, you can be anybody from anywhere, any background, as long as you've got a shared vision of making people feel welcome. You are welcome. And I think it's a journey. If you are a person that is surrounded by people who think entirely the same way as you are never going to get diversity of thought. If you are speaking into a crowd and they're speaking back to you the same language, that validates your thoughts, your feelings, and kind of how you live your life. And that can be positive in some circumstances by really bolstering how you feel about yourself. Like, for example, growing up as a gay man, it was very difficult for me, especially in a smaller town, to find people to connect with. But it also can create an atmosphere where there is no diversity of thought. And from the opposite lens, if you get a workplace, for example, that everybody is the same, everybody fits into the same box, no one has any diversity of experience of the backgrounds of their lives, then people don't tend to be able to really learn. They don't tend to be able to understand the differences. And that's by no means their fault. But adding diversity in allows people to really learn and say, well, okay, you do something a different way. You think about something a bit of a different way. Why do you think about it a different way? Oh, you think about it because of this reason. And that actually resonates with me because I can connect to something that's happened in my life, and the way that you've dealt with it is slightly different to the way that I've dealt with it. And I think it creates an environment where people can learn from each other so much better rather than just emulating each other. And I feel like we're living in a society where, especially with social media and internet, we're being fed the same thoughts that we think constantly, daily, in and out. And there really needs to be a place that we can come, for example, the workplace, where that isn't an influence on us, where we can actually see people in front of us as individuals. And that's super powerful because no one can come into the workplace and tell you how to think. You know, you go to the workplace and you're paid to think for yourself, basically. Let's be real. So being able to do that with individuals who are sat in front of you and just being able to connect with different types of people just allows growth, really.
It's refreshing, isn't it? Connecting with all different people from all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities.
Exactly.
And I think you're right. It comes down to the power of connection and also education. Marianne, I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who wants to understand more about the community and how they can become an ally?
Listen in and be open-minded. I think that's very important. Also ask for advice. Ask for advice in the community or with allies, because I think it's okay to say, I don't know, I would like to learn more. And that's a much better approach than say, oh, I don't like this because you don't know and you're afraid of what you don't know. So be open-minded, ask people, how can we do it? And as I said, reverse mentoring. Ask for it. Instead of having a senior person to do the mentoring, ask for some that's diverse from you. Learn from them. I think that's really important. But we're doing this happy hours with different topics in our Rainbow ERG. Dial in, listen in, learn, because there'll be discussion. And the coming we have, with Allyship, learn about what does allyship mean. Speak up. Tell people you are an ally if you like to be an ally.
I think if you put a person and a face behind what's going on, it's so much easier to understand, right, than just reading something off of maybe a newsletter, which is a powerful tool as well, but really listening to people's stories. Comments and rhetoric that comes out of a community is not just based off of empty feeling. There are actual individuals out there that feel those things, and that's why they say those things. And no one's trying to judge you because you don't understand. Actually, we want to invite you to come in and understand where we're coming from and why we feel the way we do about certain things. And it's not punishment. It's not a bad thing if you don't know. In actual fact, you can teach us a couple of things as well.
Absolutely.
Why do you view things the way that you do? And then that can help us to understand, well, how can we better position ourselves to help you as well?
I think that's a really nice point. And I think it is about asking questions. It is about learning. And I wonder if we could look at, management within Hitachi and how managers can support to create an inclusive workplace at Hitachi. And Daniel, does this relate to any of your personal stories within work?
Last November, my partner and I were attacked whilst traveling on the underground network. It was a very scary incident that happened. It was something that I didn't expect to happen, especially in a city like London. Unfortunately, these things are happening more and more. It's something that we definitely need to talk about. I was quite shaken after the event, and when I returned back home, I dropped my manager a message, and I just, I let her know what had happened. And she was very understanding, obviously extremely supportive, and almost made me take, just a couple of days to myself just to get myself back into the rhythm of normal life. I don't think people really understand how shaking an event like that can be, where someone physically assaults you for simply kissing your partner on the cheek. It's not just the attack. It's the feeling of your safety being taken away in a place that you live daily and not knowing when that can and can't happen again. It's not the first time it's happened to myself or anybody that I've known. I know of a few people that it's happened to personally. And I think these are the types of stories that people really need to understand have a person at the end of them. And no one should ever have to feel unsafe, especially in the city that they live in, especially in a city like London or any European city for that matter, that is known for being quite progressive, and it shouldn't happen anywhere around the world really. But to be able to come to work, return with no one asking me questions, no one making me feel uncomfortable because it wasn't made to be a big thing, and actually that was probably the right approach. The right approach was take some time off, I'll check in on you, see how you're doing, but otherwise we're not going to make a huge big deal about out of all of this. This is your time, this is your story, this is what you need to do with it. And that for me shows a great level of support, a place that I can talk to. And I did talk to my manager once I was feeling a little bit better, and she was extremely supportive. HR were very supportive. It was a real comforting moment to know that I didn't have to make up an excuse of why I needed to be off.
Yeah.
Because I was able to actually tell the truth.
Yeah.
And not everybody is able to do that.
Yeah.
Some people don't feel as safe to say, and this can go for anything that really happens. Some people don't feel safe enough to say, actually, something really traumatic has happened to me, and I need some time to myself. So to come to a work environment where I feel free enough to be able to do that really took the edge off of what had happened, basically. And it's just a testament to the people in Hitachi.
I think I'm really sorry to hear about that. And as I said before, I have similar situation with my son. But I think it's very important. It's being shared also openly, because there's a reason. There's still a need for the Pride. There's still a reason for having a Pride Month. There's still a reason for discussing all this thing. There's still a reason to ask people to be allies, and people who is not living or not part of the community, they can believe that, why are we still doing that? So I really think it's very brave of you to speak about this here openly.
Absolutely.
But I think it's also needed. So we are not there yet.
No, and I don't think the fight stops now, and I don't think the fight will stop in the near future. In actual fact, I would probably say that most European countries are going through a form of regression in their views on most diversity groups, to be honest, not just those within the LGBTQIA plus community, but actually across the board. And it is a detriment to everybody, because an unsafe place for me is an unsafe place for you as well. It's an unsafe place for your kids. And no one wants that. No one needs that. And I think we need to start having real conversations about whether the road that we're heading down in a lot of places is where we want our kids to end up.
Absolutely. And I think, you said it, we're living in very challenging, turbulent times and scary times. But I just want to thank you both for sharing, these stories, because this is what it's about, being open, having these conversations to, raise visibility on these issues. And at the end of the day, we are all human and we have feelings. So thank you so much. And I'd really like to touch on how we envision the future of the LGBTQ plus community. And, what steps do we need to take, both in society and at Hitachi? So, Marianne, can I get your thoughts on that?
I think we are doing better with the Rainbow ERG, but I also think it needs to start with all managers learning and being educated in how do we do it. Of course, we do a lot of diversity training, but I also think everybody needs to stand up and speak and be ally. And some will look at the HR department and ask HR department, what are we doing for this? But it should start with themselves. Stand up and, telling that it's not tolerated. There's things that's not tolerated in the work place. And it is to not be accepted for diversity, for the community. So I really think it needs to start with their leaders to be strong and show they are strong allies, because then it will go down in all the organization.
I think that we are facing some challenges. It's a turbulent time for everybody, I think, at the moment, if we're all feeling it across the globe. But I think if it's going to do anything, it's going to bring us together. And we have each other, we have our community, and, we're as strong as the group together. So as long as we keep that in mind, that we've got each other, and that is why it's so important to have issues like this talked about, especially in the workplace, and build communities and build our ERGs and show people that there are places that they can come to if they are feeling a certain way or need to get some of their feelings out or thoughts out. There's a safe place for them. I think that's so important, not just for members of our community, but members of any other diverse community. Companies continuing to show that they do care, that they are providing places for people to meet and to talk, and that they are doing things to try and help. Every little helps, as they say. People in society are doing the same thing. There are places that you can go. There are people that you can talk to. There are resources out there, and I think we just need to remember that and just keep ourselves going forward on that, and really just keep discussing and keep talking.
Having these conversations and doing things like this, we really do, help to build awareness on the community for ourselves and others. And I just want to thank you both for participating in this incredible episode. So thank you again for listening to the People of Hitachi podcast. Please subscribe and see you next time.